This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
The Nigeria Correctional Service, NCoS, has revealed that 3,590 of the inmates in its custody are on death row. The Correction Service also revealed that more than half of the 84,741 inmates in its custody are still awaiting trial. This is a conversation about prison reforms, especially on the back of increased funding for the care of prisoners in Nigeria. We'll be speaking with Maoyon Amosu, the head of legal services at Headfort Foundation. Ms. Amosu, good morning and thank you for joining us on the conversation.
Good morning, Mr. Stephen. It's nice to be here.
Our pleasure to have you. So, what is your reaction to the numbers that the Correctional Services has announced regarding the status of inmates?
Well, it's actually overwhelming because we can see that currently we have 557,750 inmates awaiting trial, and that's actually very alarming. And in most of those cases, some of these guys have been in prison for 5 years or 10 years. Of recent, when Edward Foundation has visited the Kirikiri Maximum Correctional Center, there were people there, up to 9 inmates who have been in custody for 15 years, and they are still awaiting trial. One was actually, his case was on appeal. Because of appeal, we cleared the matter back to the High Court for the court to retry the matter, and nothing has been done. I wrote letters to the CJH, the necessary authorities, so that we'll be able to find a solution to this. And it's still in process and everything. But I beginning to imagine how is somebody being in Kirikiri 10, 15 years without going to court, and nothing is being done to that. It's really worrying and it's worrisome, and it's a great challenge.
Well, the numbers are quite alarming. Over 5,000 or nearly 6,000 inmates on death row, and over half of the 84,000 which makes up the entire population of the Nigerian Correctional Services, are still awaiting trial. And you've alluded to that as well, the fact that some cases still haven't made their way through the courts and been determined. But I wonder, when it comes to prison reforms, what we are hearing out of the correctional services is to build other facilities, because the numbers clearly tell that there is an overcrowding happening. So I wonder if you can speak to us about what prison reforms would look like, so that these numbers can go down and so that justice can be served across the board.
Okay, when we even talk about the people on death row, we have to look at the fact that if death sentence is still a pain, should inmates be sentenced to death? No. Even in international court of justice, a court that tried the grievous offense against humanity, genocide, war crime offenses, they don't even sentence these people to death. The International Court of Justice doesn't even have the power, doesn't have the jurisdiction to sentence people. They're perpetrators of greater crimes against humanity, and yet they were none of the people that have been sentenced are sentenced to death. So why are we still sentencing people to death? So there is a need for the reform of the Nigeria Correctional Center, and one of the ways is community service, where the court will look at other alternatives to keeping those people in the correctional center. Where if for petty offenses, they could do a lot of community services. Our country is dirty, the house is dirty. We could go into farming, we could go into other things rather than keeping them there. There's restitution. You could, if a defendant is willing to be paid whatever he or she was alleged to have stolen, then let the person go. For offenses that are not grievous, we should look for other means. And there is a need for us to rebuild totally the correctional centers. The correctional centers are nothing to write home about. So the reform is needed. It is very, very needed at this stage that we have, because they are overcrowded. When you go to Ikoyi, when you see the state of affairs, the state of the infrastructure in Ikoyi, you're going to cry for the Nigerian justice system. Why are we treating people like this? The fact that they are inmates, the fact that they've committed a crime, does not mean you have to put them under this inhuman treatment. So there is a major need for reform. Where there are so many ways people could be punished rather than keeping them for petty offenses, rather than keeping them in the correctional center, rather than wasting the time of the court, even the resources of the court and the precious time of the court in trials and matter. And the thing is that there are so many people that their matter is still at the magistrate court, because the magistrate court does not have the jurisdiction to try those cases, and they might be there for over 3 years, 2 years before their DPP advice will come out, before the police, the officer, the prosecutor at the magistrate court will refer the matter to the DPP of the state judiciary and all that. So there is a need for this reform. It is actually a very urgent situation that needs to be treated.
Well, Ms. Amosu, thank you very much for your time and your expertise on this conversation. Maoyon Amosu is the head of legal services at Headfort Foundation, and she joined us this morning to speak on the numbers that have been announced by the Nigeria Correctional Services regarding its total inmate numbers, those who are awaiting trial, and nearly 6,000 inmates who are currently on death row.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.